Uppity Unicorn here with 10 Black women innovators and the awesome things they brought to us. So, number one, everything good about your phone. Remember the days, and I'm just going to go on ahead and read the article, and if I have any side commentary, I will provide that. So, remember the days before call waiting and caller ID. If you answered yes, you are grown. If you answer yes, you might be old, and you almost might have great appreciation for the research of Dr. Shirley Jackson, whose work led to those innovations, along with the development of touch tone phones, portable fax machines, and fiber optic cables that make your long distance phone calls come in crystal clear, right? So that's number one. You can thank a Black woman for literally everything good about your phone. And it is just like a Black woman to be like, who calling me? Do I even want to pick up that call? And then, there's caller ID. Jackson was the first Black woman to earn a doctorate from MIT, the first Black female president of a major technological institute, and went on to become the first Black woman appointed chair of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Her list of achievements and awards goes on, but instead of clicking on that, we're just going to move on here. So number two, the heater. Now, I'm already laughing at this because Black women just be cold. We be anemic. We be sitting over here with low iron. This is hilarious. Like who else would have done this? Who else? Who else? Number two, the heater. Isn't it nice that you can just walk into your home and turn on the heat when you're cold? You can thank Alice H. Parker for that. Parker took it upon herself to design a natural gas-fueled, new and improved heating furnace. Her design earned a patent in December 1919 and helped give birth to the thermostat and the familiar forced air furnaces in most homes today. You can thank a very cold Black woman, okay? The coldest, apparently. Number three, space-saving furniture. I'm laughing at these. I'm having like these real reactions too. I didn't go over the article before I presented it. But number three, it's a space-saving furniture. In 1885, Sarah Good became the first African-American woman to file a patent. Oh, wow. Okay, Sophia the First. So Good was born into slavery. After the Civil War, she moved to Chicago. There, she met her husband, and the two of them opened a furniture shop. Back in the 1880s, most Black families in Chicago didn't buy a lot of furniture because they lived in small homes and apartments. Seeing a need for innovative space-saving solutions, Good designed the cabinet bed, a bed that could fold into a functioning desk. It's like a Murphy bed, only more useful. So here's a little design that was patented. It's hard to believe that Good's cabinet bed isn't around today. Think of the space that could be saved in dorm rooms, studio apartments, or those new tiny houses everyone's talking about. So in reality, although this is not around today, I mean, just look at this thing. Just look at it and tell me that hasn't inspired so many new space-saving furniture pieces of today. So we're going to thank her anyway. Number four, home security. Child. When Marie Van Britton Brown and her husband Albert noticed increasing crime in their New York neighborhood, coupled with the fact that police were slow to respond to calls in their part of town, they set out to make their home feel safer. In 1966, Brown and her husband filed a patent for a household closed-circuit television security system. Y'all, I love this. I love this. The system had a camera at the front door that looked through one of 4 peepholes at different heights. That image was broadcast to the user on a television set in another part of the house. It also had a 2-way microphone, come on now, which allowed for communication with visitors at the door, and a remote switch that could unlock the door to let people in. Child, if the person seemed unsafe, users could push an alert button to signal a nearby security firm. Today, very similar systems can be seen in homes and apartment complexes across the nation. So when you think of home security, you think of Marie Van Brittan Brown. Number five, rock and roll. And I mean, I don't know why it doesn't just say pop music and every other American genre of music. Maybe because some are specifically introduced by Black males, while others are a collaborative effort between, Black men and women. Anyhow, many have received credit for inventing rock and roll. Elvis Presley was referred to as the king of rock and roll. Chuck Berry was the father of rock and roll. Alan Freed coined the term rock and roll. But did you know that rock and roll also has a godmother? In the 1930s and 40s, Sister Rosetta Tharpe was one of the first people to combine gospel music with melody-driven urban blues, traditional folk, and a unique pulsating swing style. Today, Tharpe's musical style is considered one of the first definite precursors of rock and roll. Many music legends, including Elvis Presley, Little Richard, Johnny Cash, and Chuck Berry, were influenced by Tharpe's unique musical style. Yet somehow her name is often left out when people talk about the history of rock and roll. I mean, if her face isn't on the induction Hall of Fame for rock and roll, it ought to be. It ought to be. Now, I would press play on that video, but I don't want to. I don't want us to be rerouted from what we're reading here. Number six, a good hairbrush. Child, because a Black woman is going to be about her hair, okay? She going to do. She going to whip that whip. Anyhow, number six, a good hairbrush. Have you ever seen those old-time movies where women run a brush through their hair 100 times, counting each stroke and what appears to be an unnecessary waste of time? They probably had to do that way back then. Brushes weren't as user-friendly as they are today, and combing hair was a long and difficult process. Lida D. Newman's invention was simple yet revolutionary. In 1898, Newman patented her new and improved hairbrush. The brush had evenly separated bristles, slots that kept dirt and hair neatly contained, and a detachable compartment for easy cleaning. The artificial bristles Newman used were similar to the plastic ones used today. So there you have it. Number seven, downtown Los Angeles. Wait a minute. You invented downtown Los Angeles, sis? Okay, so Bridget Biddy Mason. Bridget Biddy Mason didn't invent the city of Los Angeles, but she did help shape the city's downtown area. Mason was born a slave and traveled with her slave owner, Robert Smith, as he moved around the country. When Smith moved his family and slaves to California, Mason discovered slavery was illegal in the state, petitioned to the courts to free herself and her family, and won. With her newfound freedom, Mason worked hard as a nurse and midwife until she had enough money to invest in real estate. Eventually, she was able to buy 10 acres. Come on. 10 acres for $250, and on which she built rental homes and eventually a larger commercial building she rented out. That land she invested in and developed is now the heart of downtown LA. To live and die in LA. Okay. As she amassed her wealth, she also established the first African Methodist Episcopal Church. Come on, sis. Praise him. The first African Methodist Episcopal Church, and donated time and money to multiple charities and community programs. See, a sister is going to give. A traditional sister is going to reach back, give back, lean back. Despite all of her accomplishments, Mason was buried in an unmarked grave in Boyle Heights, the disrespect. In Boyle Heights, Los Angeles, where she died, when she died in 1891, her real estate and money were passed on to her children, but the legacy was lost in the Great Depression. Nearly 100 years after her death, LA's mayor and 3,000 members of the church she started gave her grave a proper tombstone. And Thursday, November 16, 1989, was declared Biddy Mason Day. Today, a memorial to her achievements is erected at the site where her home once stood in downtown LA. I am so glad they righted that wrong, because an unmarked grave for a woman who built downtown LA. That's a lot. That's a lot. But there are so many unsung heroines among the African American community that we do things like this, right? We say their names and we remember them and we express gratitude to our ancestors by taking this time out to acknowledge the path they beat for us on an unbeaten path while they were busy beating that path. Number 8 is a better menstrual pad. Come on, somebody, because in belts, then belts and towels. Mary Patrice Davidson Kenner patented many inventions in her life. There was the new and improved bathroom tissue holder, which caught the loose end of the toilet paper for easier use in the back scrubber that attached to the shower wall for better executed hygiene. She also patented an adjustable tray and pocket attachment for walkers, which made travel more convenient for people who use walking aids, and a sanitary belt with a moisture proof napkin pocket. I said a moisture proof napkin pocket, which made the cumbersome precursor to the pad less messy and more effective. I know some of the brothers aren't even going to be able to look. If you lasted through that, congratulations. We're moving right on along to number 9. Okay, sis, I see you. 3D movies. I see you. Seen any 3D movies lately? You know why? A black woman, Valerie Thomas, physicist, inventor, and NASA data analyst. Come on, sis. When she wasn't busy managing the Landsat program, which has produced millions of images of Earth, oh, come on, somebody. She was inventing the technology which went on to become the premise for more advanced TV screens and modern 3D technology. Hababosha. In the late 70s, Thomas discovered that concave mirrors can create the illusion of three-dimensional objects and began experimenting with how she could visually transmit the 3D illusion. In 1980, Thomas patented her illusion transmitter. Lord have mercy. She made sure that 3D television, she made sure those images were clear for you and I to watch, and then had the nerve, had the gall, had the 3D movies. Okay, sis. NASA. Okay. Physicist. Okay. NASA data analyst. Okay. This is a lot. I remember being told in college, and this is before I get to the final thing on our list. I remember so many people in high school and college. Oh, well, you're different for a black girl. You're this for a black girl. You're that for a black girl. You're smart. You're kind. You're this. And I'm just like, if you know anything about black people, you wouldn't say that. I'm like, I don't know what this ghetto taught you. I don't know what 206 taught you. I don't know what inner city Seattle taught you. But if you know anything about my people, you wouldn't say that to me. And if you were going to say that to me, you wouldn't be using it as a compliment. If anything, I pale in comparison to what I know to be the bearers of my culture. I pale in comparison. But, we grew up at a time where, people expected different things from African Americans. And so, they would talk to me like I was this credit to my race. And I'm just like, I will land like a raindrop in the ocean of a woman like Valerie Thomas. Insignificant. If you only knew what my people were really like, you wouldn't be saying I'm good or kind or smart or anything for a black girl. You'd be saying the opposite. Number 10 is better eyesight. Come on, somebody. Come on, Dr. Patricia Bath. I already knew this was you. I already knew this was you. While she may not be responsible for everyone's sight, Dr. Patricia Bath invented a device that drastically improved the process for removing cataracts, which can cause impaired vision and blindness. Today, her laser phaco probe, which allows for quick and almost painless removal of cataracts, is used around the world. Dr. Bhatt was the first African American woman to receive a medical patent, co-founded the American Institute, excuse me, was the first woman, African American woman to receive a medical patent, co-founded the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness, and was the first woman to become the head of a residency program in ophthalmology. And if that's not enough, she pioneered the concept of community ophthalmology, a system that increased the amount of eye care available to low income and underserved populations, just like what I said up here, because the sister gonna lean back. She gonna give back. I mean, you've seen charity and philanthropy over and over in this list of 10 women. Because if you really knew the group of women that I came from, you wouldn't be saying I'm better than, you'd be saying I'm less than. There is a whole lot to measure up to. African American ancestors cast an enormous shadow. I mean, shoes that are so hard to fill. Anyhow, Black History Month. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and let me know below if there were one or more of these things that you didn't know about.